I was thinking about the last meeting, and basically I think there was a pop quiz on OPMA, and this council kind of failed. We got the advertising part down, but the public discussion part, not so much. When an ordinance is introduced, the public cannot comment on it. And it is advertised a date and time, as was read tonight, that the meeting place of the City Council, and at such time and place all persons interested be given an opportunity to be heard concerning said ordinance. Last time the ordinance on Elm didn't happen. And it was advertised. It was advertised that it was the public hearing, and you read this every time also. The second reading of an ordinance. This ordinance has been advertised pursuant to law and now calls for a public hearing. It was advertised, but when citizens tried to have a public hearing on it, they were told it was on the docket of the last meeting. It was on the docket, which was the first reading, which they're not allowed to comment on at the first reading. They were told they had to open the police report because nobody had it with them. Nobody was ready and able to discuss this. The OPMA law says, just let me refresh you, the public has the right to be present at all meetings of public bodies and to witness in full detail all phases of the deliberation, policy formulation, and decision-making of public bodies. That was denied last time because the public was told, you had 2 weeks to look this up. Now, it didn't happen yesterday, it didn't happen the day before. No, that decision-making was supposed to happen at that meeting. And we were told it had already happened. We were told that you should have done your own work for 2 weeks, not come to the public meeting where it was advertised that this was going to be heard, where you're supposed to be discussing it, and we were told, no, you should have done your own work before. That is in violation of OPMA. The advertising part is done, the discussion part never happens at these meetings. It does not happen. We were told it was discussed at the Committee of the Whole meeting. Well, it wasn't on the October 5th agenda for the Committee of the Whole. It was on the September 14th agenda for the Committee of the Whole. And that was before it was introduced for first reading as a resolution. When could we have discussed this before October 6th? At no point. That was the date and time advertised for discussion. And the public was told we were wrong to try to discuss it at that point. But that's just a perfect example. It just happened to be that way, but it never happens. The decision-making of this council does not happen at the council meeting. It's clear. It does not happen at the council meeting. We are entitled to be in on your discussion, to witness in full detail all phases of the deliberation. Witness in full detail. When a report is asked for, that is a detail. Be told, nobody had it. Nobody had the police report for the change of the direction of a street at the meeting at which that was to be discussed. That is in violation of OPMA. The advertising part, you got down. Reading this has been advertised pursuant to law, you got that down. But the second part, it means something. Now calls for a public hearing. Hearing the public, that is what is to happen at that point. At this meeting is when the decision should be made. But we were told right out that it was made beforehand. And that we should have done our homework beforehand. That is not when it's supposed to happen. It is supposed to happen at these council meetings, and it never does. There is never a discussion of an ordinance. You have your discussion at a Committee of the Whole meeting. However, that is not when it is advertised that it will be a public hearing. It is advertised as a council meeting, and that is OPMA. And I think this council is in violation of OPMA for not discussing ordinances at a city council meeting. That should be, simple ABC. That should be real easy, but it never, ever happens at these meetings. And it should. Not at the Committee of the Whole meeting. You can discuss it, but the decision-making is supposed to be at this meeting. It's advertised, we're all here, but you don't want to hear what we have to say when we get up and speak, and that was perfectly clear at the last meeting.
Thank you.
No questions.
In response to Ms. DePasqua's comments, I personally want to apologize. I think that's something we need to pay attention to if that is in fact what happened, and it seems to me it did happen that way. We do need to give the people a voice and be part of it. We need to make our decision after we hear their voice. That's my point. All right, so Ms. DePasqua, my apology on that. All right? That's it.
I'm not even gonna comment on it because I don't think it deserves it.
Ooh, how rude.
You didn't have to say that.
Huh?
You didn't have to add the last part. But you did.
That's
And
ignorant.
I wasn't speaking to you, but I did, and I did what I said.
I'm not a smart man.
Right?
The only thing that I wanted to comment on was the community